Think for a moment about all the alerts and indicators in our lives. From a simple ping on your phone to like a flashing light in a factory, signals are just everywhere. They guide our safety, our efficiency. But if you ever really stop to consider the huge global market behind these devices, are they just old school buzzers or maybe something more dynamic? Today, we're taking a deep dive into the fascinating world of the global signaling devices market. And just so you know, all the insights we're sharing today, they come straight from official data by Cognitive Market Research. Gives us a really clear snapshot.
Exactly. And what's really interesting here is that this isn't just about basic alerts. It's really about the essential infrastructure, the stuff underpinning so many critical industries all over the world. These devices, they're integral to, well, everything from manufacturing safety to smart city traffic flow, even data centers. So our mission today is really to unpack these numbers, look at the growth drivers, and understand what this pretty robust global expansion means for you, whether you're tracking tech trends or looking for economic insights, or maybe you're just curious.
Absolutely. We'll trace its journey from 2021, take a peek at 2025, and then project its climb all the way to 2033. It's quite a trajectory, actually.
It really is. But before we jump into the numbers, maybe we should quickly clarify what we mean by signaling devices today. Because, people might picture a fire alarm, maybe a car's turn signal, but this market is much bigger, more advanced now.
That's a great point. What exactly are we covering here?
Well, the definition has definitely evolved. In essence, yeah, it's devices converting electrical signals into sensory output. So visual things like LED beacons, indicator lights, traffic signals, audible ones like buzzers, horns, sirens, maybe even haptic, like vibration alerts. But the modern market, it goes way beyond standalone units. We're seeing more and more integrated systems, often networked, talking to IoT platforms, sometimes using AI for predictive alerts, really becoming part of Industry 4.0.
Okay, so think smart factories where machines don't just flash a light but send data.
Exactly. Predicting maintenance needs, for instance. Or smart city signals, managing parking or emergency responses. It's this blend of traditional safety and really cutting-edge communication.
Okay, that expanded definition definitely sets the stage better. So let's unpack this with the big picture first. The global market is showing some seriously strong expansion. Back in 2021, sales revenue hit just over $2.8 billion. $288.87 million to be precise. Fast forward to 2025, it's expected to reach nearly $3.6 billion. That's $388.76 million.
Oh.
But here's where it gets really interesting. By 2033, the projections show it soaring to an impressive $5.8 billion. $5,829.2 million. That's a compound annual growth rate, the CAGR, of about 6.25% over that whole period.
Wow. Okay, so this isn't just like steady growth, it's sustained, nearly doubling the market size from 2021 to 2033. That speaks volumes, doesn't it?
It really does.
It shows how integral these devices are becoming across almost every sector. They're not just optional add-ons anymore. They seem essential for efficiency, regulation, safety. And this consistent expansion, it points to increasing demand everywhere, driven by industrialization, urbanization, that push for safer, more connected environments. It's just a fundamental piece of our global infrastructure now.
That really underlines their importance. Okay, so with that global view, let's kick off our regional tour. North America first. It remains a truly key market. In 2021, sales were over $1.1 billion, $1,126.35 million, expected to grow to nearly $1.42 billion by 2025, and then reaching over $2.27 billion by 2033. That gives it a TGR of just over 6%, so 6.053%.
Still very solid growth for an established market.
Definitely. And within North America, the U.S. really leads the charge. It contributed a substantial $867 million, roughly, in 2021, projected to hit almost $1.78 billion by 2033. That's EAGR of about 6.17%. Canada also plays a big role, moving from $180 million in 2021 to over $350 million by 2033. That's a 5.84% EAGR. And Mexico, not to be overlooked, is set to increase from nearly $79 million to over $144 million by 2033, a KGR of about 5.15%.
So North America as a developed market, its steady growth, it probably reflects continued infrastructure investment, right? Industrial automation, maybe evolving safety standards. But is it mainly new builds or?
That's a good question.
It feels like a lot of it might be driven by upgrades, the retrofit market, modernizing older facilities.
I think you're right.
Upgrading to smart IoT-enabled systems, not just for basic safety, but for like predictive maintenance, asset tracking, things that boost efficiency. Plus, escalating compliance needs and just the economics of preventing downtime. It shows more sophisticated demand.
That makes sense. Okay, let's move across the Atlantic. Europe, sales there were nearly $817 million in 2021, growing to over $1.63 billion by 2033, and the CAGR is about 6.04%, very similar overall rate to North America.
Right, but you mentioned some interesting internal dynamics.
Yeah, let's break this down a bit. The UK shows impressive growth, climbing from about $171.5 million in 2021 to over $377 million by 2033. And its CTR is a standout 6.84%. That's higher than the regional average.
Okay, interesting.
Germany remains a powerhouse. Started at $212 million in 2021, projected to reach nearly $446.5 million by 2033. That's a strong 6.5%, 6.516% CAGR. We also see France moving from about $92 million to $175 million, Russia $57 million to $127 million, all making significant contributions. Even smaller markets like Luxembourg show notable growth, expanding from $65 million to $126 million, roughly at a 5.75% TAGR. So it indicates pretty broad adoption across the continent.
So that raises the question, why such varied growth within Europe? Countries like the UK and Germany with those higher CGRs, maybe they're seeing faster industrial upgrades, new regulations pushing things.
Could be. Maybe Industry 4.0 initiatives, like you mentioned.
Possibly. Germany, being a manufacturing hub, the push for automated factories would demand more sophisticated signaling. The UK, maybe it's infrastructure projects or even post-Brexit regulatory shifts focusing on safety and efficiency, whereas countries like, say, Denmark or Sweden, maybe with slightly lower growth, could represent more mature markets, where the initial rollout is done and it's more about incremental upgrades.
Yeah, it sounds like a complex picture. Different economies modernizing at different paces.
Exactly. Influenced by national policies, digital transformation plans, even environmental rules.
Okay, now, here's where it gets really interesting for global trends. The Asia-Pacific region, this stands out as one of the fastest growing markets globally. Its sales jumped from just over $506 million in 2021 to a projected $1.14 billion by 2033. And get this, a leading regional CAGR of just over 7%, 7.073% to be exact. That's significantly higher than North America and Europe.
Wow, okay, that's a major difference, the growth engine.
Totally. China leads the region in absolute sales, moving from $192 million to over $441 million by 2033, growing at about 7.3% CAGR. But for sheer remarkable growth, look at India. Started at just over $81 million in 2021, projected to soar to over $202 million by 2033. And that boasts the highest individual country CAGR we've seen so far.
Yeah.
An incredible 7.86%.
India, yeah, 7.86%. That's exceptional.
What do you think is driving that specific surge in India, even compared to China's strong numbers?
Well, India's growth is a fantastic example of emerging market dynamics, isn't it? If you connect it back, Asia-Pacific's overall aggressive growth, especially India's, clearly points to rapid industrialization, urbanization, but also maybe a unique leapfrogging effect in tech adoption. India's seeing this huge wave of new infrastructure, new manufacturing, factories, smart cities, transport networks, and instead of installing older tech, they're often going straight to advanced wireless network solutions, bypassing older generations.
Ah, so skipping steps almost.
Kind of, yeah. This accelerated adoption of cutting-edge stuff combined with the sheer scale of development, it just creates this massive demand for sophisticated devices. It really propels India's CAGR as it integrates faster into global supply chains.
That makes a lot of sense. Okay, let's round out the global tour. 3 more regions: South America, the Middle East, and Africa. All showing consistent, strong growth, maybe from a lower starting point, but definite potential.
Right, crucial for the full picture.
First, South America. Sales growing from nearly $149 million in 2021 to over $279 million by 2033. That's a CAGR of about 5.83%. Brazil is key here, expanding from $40 million to over $78 million, a 6.13% AGR go. Argentina is significant too, $52 million to nearly $100 million, 6% CAGR, and Colombia, $16 million to over $31 million, about a 6.16% CAGR.
Solid growth across the board there.
Then the Middle East reached over $84 million in 2021, expected to hit over $187 million by 2033, with a robust 6.84% CAGR overall for the region. And Saudi Arabia shows really strong momentum, rising from nearly $22 million to nearly $16 million, a 7.49% CAGR.
Significant investment happening there.
Absolutely. And finally, Africa. Recorded over $132 million in 2021, projected to reach over $318 million by 2033, growing at a 5.95% CAGR. Nigeria leads here, strong growth from over $33 million to over $84 million. That's a 6.53% CAGR. closely followed by South Africa from nearly $22.5 million to almost $57 million, a 6.42% CGR.
So these regions, taken together, they really underscore that global shift in economic activity, don't they? The consistent expansion, especially those high ski GRs in places like Saudi Arabia, the UAE, Nigeria, it clearly points to major investment in infrastructure, resource extraction, new industrial development. A lot of these nations are diversifying their economies, building smart cities, modernizing industries. So that demand for sophisticated signaling, it's moving beyond just potential. It's real market growth now.
Definitely showing tangible results. So we've seen this impressive growth everywhere, but no market's without its challenges, right? Or exciting innovations. What are the key hurdles facing the signaling devices market now? And what trends are shaping its future?
Yeah, good question. On the challenge side, cybersecurity is becoming a big one, especially as more devices get networked, become part of the IoT. Protecting those channels is critical. Standardization is another hurdle. Getting different systems from different manufacturers to talk to each other reliably, that can be complex. And supply chain resilience is still an ongoing issue, affecting component availability, delivery times, the usual suspects.
Right, those sound familiar. But what about the opportunities, the innovations?
Well, those are arguably even more exciting. We're seeing a strong trend towards AI-driven predictive signaling. So instead of just reacting, systems use machine learning to anticipate failures or safety risks. They initiate alerts before something critical happens.
Okay, like a system predicting a machine failure?
Exactly. Maybe a component overheating in a power plant weeks in advance, and it sends a specific alert, maybe even a haptic one, to a technician's wearable device. 5G integration is another huge accelerant. It enables that ultra-low latency and massive connectivity needed for huge networks of signals in smart cities or industrial sites. And there's also growing demand for energy-efficient, sustainable signaling solutions, driven by green initiatives, cost savings. Basically, these devices are getting smarter, more connected, and much more integral to the autonomous intelligent systems of tomorrow.
Fascinating. So pulling it all together, what does this all mean for you, the listener? Whether you're curious or tracking economic trends, we've seen consistent expansion everywhere. But Asia-Pacific is really leading the growth charge, powered by that rapid industrialization.
Yeah, the data paints this beautiful picture of the dual nature of the global economy, doesn't it? You've got the steady, mature growth in places like North America and Europe, driven by upgrades, compliance, tech refreshes. And alongside that, the explosive, really remarkable opportunities in emerging economies across Asia-Pacific, the Middle East, parts of Africa, and South America. That's fueled by new development, leapfrogging tech. It tells us the need for efficient, clear, reliable signaling isn't niche, it's universal, it's growing. It's essential for modernization, safety, operational intelligence everywhere. A foundation for a more connected, automated world.
What a journey through the global signaling devices market. It's definitely clear this is a robust, expanding sector. Reflects global industrial growth, tech integration, much more dynamic than just a blink and a beep.
Absolutely. And maybe for a final provocative thought for you to consider, think about how this pervasive growth reflects our increasing reliance on complex, interconnected systems. Every new factory, every smart city project, every move towards automation, they all need these signaling guardians. So it's not just about what the devices do, it's what their spread tells us about where global society is heading, towards more interconnected, data-driven, safety-conscious environments. So what new signals do you think will become crucial in the next decade, beyond just audible and visual, as our world gets even more integrated and intelligent?
Something to think about. Well, that's it for our deep dive today. Remember, all the fascinating data we shared came directly from cognitive market research. We hope this has given you a shortcut to being well-informed and maybe sparked some new curiosity.